Good morning, or is it still good night? Trying to switch the sound over so you don't get an echo from me. There we go. Now you got it switched all over. I'm still awake. I think I slept about an hour. Didn't wake up because of pain, woke up because of critters. Our chickens started making lots and lots of noise. And so I had to wake up tech support and ask him to go check on the chickens. And since I couldn't get back to sleep, I figured I'd dig in my little box and see what I could sew. So I've got all these squares that I made at one point or another. And I just made them up from some leftover fabric that I had from another quilt. Figured I'd sew a few together. Something down here by my foot. Move that back where it's supposed to go. So all I'm doing is just sewing things together. Trying to see what goes together and what doesn't. And I did put thread in there already. Did you see my video earlier where I cleaned my Juki earlier? Gave me something to do. Seriously thinking it might be time to go ahead and make coffee. Put the biscuits on. Wayne cooked us some eggs already because we were both a little nibbly after all the crazy that went on here. Our hen house got attacked by something. We're not sure if it was a possum, a skunk, a raccoon, our cats. But we have a rooster named Larry out there. And Larry fought valiantly and is actually still kicking, which is good. He looks worse for the wear, but boy, he's still walking around guarding his little hen house like the big trooper that he is. I'm trying to make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. It looks like I'm sitting here talking to myself, but that's okay. Get a little quilt top out of this, or a table runner or something. These are literally some mismatched blocks I had left over and some squares that I just put together and figured, what the heck. It's 5:30 here too, Lori. Like I said, I haven't slept. We had drama in the hen house tonight. Something decided to go out there and mess with them, and poor Wayne was sleeping so well. I had to go wake him up because we can't afford to lose the chickens. And we only have one full-grown rooster. I heard him start making a fuss, and I thought, uh-oh, we have problems. Are you just getting up, Lori? Oh boy, yeah. Hey, our little rooster was kicking butt, taking names. Wayne shot at whatever was in there, but he's not sure he hit it. He heard something and then it went running off, but of course, until you actually see the dead critter
or
the blood trail, you can't really say, yeah, I got it.
Kind of hard to track blood tonight.
So what I'm doing is I just decided to sew some blocks out of my scrap box together. Yeah, oh boy is right. We've got baby chicks in the back and big chickens out there, and we're getting ready to put some more baby chicks. Slept in about half an hour. Are you supposed to be going to work soon, or is this just your normal time to get up? Oh, thank you. They're literally leftovers from another quilt I made. Then I practiced making hourglass blocks from the pieces that were left. I thought they came out okay. So, and on my agenda today is I want to try to get my Juki back up onto its frame, onto the Grace Cutie frame that's over here beside me. So I was all anticipating that. May not happen since nobody's gotten any sleep here tonight. But we already know that tomorrow has to be coop security day for the Chickie coop. Your normal time from working and taking care of the kids. Are you getting to work from home, or you actually have to go somewhere and work? They're starting to make noise about bringing hubby and his coworkers back into the office, which will be really interesting since one of his coworkers moved to Idaho. Yeah.
And I can use that argument for me.
Yeah, Wayne doesn't want to go back to the office. Well, good morning, Math Geek. Yeah, that's where we were supposed to be, was in bed asleep. But like I put in the title of the chat, Chickie Coop attack. So by the time we got up and dealt with that, our adrenaline was going. Wayne's just like, I can't go back to sleep right now. And he's over there plotting how to keep the critters from coming in the coop again. Yes, Larry is okay. Oh, okay. I wish that Wayne was retired already. Sometimes. It would be nice in some ways, but since we can't travel anyway, and he can work from home for now, we're just doing the best we can with it. Well, I was sitting here and I was getting ready to sew because I was like, I'm not going to sleep anytime soon. And Wayne said, well, why don't you go live and sew on a live? I said, okay, sounds like a plan. Your hubby hasn't retired yet, huh? I remember I worked for an attorney years ago. And when he was getting close to retiring, like within the last 6 months or so, he told his wife, well, maybe after I retire, we can keep some milk in the house regularly. She ran out of milk once, one whole time. I guess the camera's over there, not over here to my right. like 40 something years they'd been married. After she left to go to the store, I told him, I said, you probably should watch that. She might poison you. I don't know how she put up with him all those years. He was a nice man, but attorneys have a inflated sense of self-importance sometimes. And he'd been, the head guy in charge for so long at work that I think he thought he was going to take that attitude home with him. And I just kept thinking to myself, one of these days, buddy, she's going to pick up a cast iron skillet, say, bless your heart. Yeah, he wasn't at home much. Right before he retired that last year, she would come in and like a couple days a week and run all of our errands and stuff for us, going to the courthouse and picking up mail. This was all before everything went completely electronic. And I told him, I said, you're treading on some thin ice there, buddy. Like I said, he was a really sweet man, but very, very, very 1950s. Yeah. Oh, and she would bring him lunches into the office. Sometimes she'd cook, bring him a whole meal from home hot, right off the stove. Other times she'd go to the store and buy him the frozen lunches that he liked. Yeah. He wasn't spoiled at all. She was a sweetheart of a lady, though. Well, I guess she still is. As far as I know, they're both still alive. It's been 20 years since I worked for him, but he was mid-50s, mid-60s. And his mother was still alive. His mother came in and cleaned the office, which I thought was just so wild. 80-something years old, and she'd still come in and vacuum and clean our bathroom and stuff. And I was like, I can do that. She's like, you just hush and sit there. I've got stuff to do. I think the women in his life spoiled him a little bit. So did anybody else watch So Becca try to learn how to crochet tonight? Oh, heck no. Yeah, Lori, I couldn't have either. But it wasn't my job to say anything about that, so I didn't. Yeah, his mom was a little spry thing. I was always like, okay, and here I am in my 30s, and she's vacuuming around me and cleaning the bathrooms. And the only thing that convinced me not to do it was, one, she was like, oh no, I want to do it. And two, he was like, I don't pay you what I pay you an hour to clean the office. I was like, okay. That made sense to me. He was a really good boss. He was, even if he was old fashioned. So I'm trying to think, where to put it. Oh, I watched So Becca learn how to crochet tonight. I already know how, obviously. But here's my dishcloth. I'm going to put a trim or something around it in a bit. All I'm doing with these is just turning them opposite directions and sewing them together. And then I'm sewing the rows together once I get a couple made. Yeah. It was cool. She's got way more patience than I do, Becca does. Because she kept going, oh, I don't have the tension right. I'm pulling it, frogging it. And I was like, okay. Literally just little strips sewn together. I got my quilt today from Tiffany. It's in the washer or in the dryer right now. And Becca got her quilt from Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. I'm like, everybody's getting their quilts in the mail. That's fun. And my quilt from Tiffany is so soft. I was like, oh, really wanted to sleep under it tonight, but it's fairly heavy, so it didn't get dry before bedtime. And obviously, I'm not sleeping anyway. I'm actually, Math Geek, where did you learn how to crochet at? Did you learn from a family member or did you learn on YouTube? My babysitter tried to teach me when I was a kid, but it never stuck. And I finally taught myself how from watching Jada and Stitches on YouTube. Or I guess Jada taught me how. Okay, 1, 2. What have I got in here? I still got a ton more stuff in this silly box. I don't know if you can see down in there, but that's what I'm working from. And I have a couple of different piles in there. This one is oranges and yellows, and this one is everything else. I have Route 66 fabric in there and Cosmic Cows. My mom didn't crochet. That was not something she was going to do. Wasn't in her wheelhouse. She used to laugh at the lady down the road who did all those, I don't know how old you guys are, in the 70s and early to mid 70s. It was really popular to do those puff paint things where you like painted out pictures that they gave you designs for. One of the ladies down the road did that. My mom was always talking about how Susie Homemaker she was, and it wasn't a compliment. I remember those things. They were cool looking. I can't knit. I've tried. It's not really my wheelhouse. Like I said, I taught myself how to crochet, and I can do that pretty well. I've made myself a few pair of slippers. First ones I made, I had to give to Honey because they were way too big for my feet. Oh, I remember Shrinky Dinks too. I never did those, but I do remember them. One of my cousins was into those. She put holes in them and put them on bracelets or necklaces or something. I wanted them, just never got them. Ponchos. Oh my. Good morning, Crystal. How are you this morning? I don't know if I should say I'm glad you're up or I'm sorry you're up. I haven't gone to sleep. Well, I slept for about an hour. But I've been up now since about 2:30. Debating on whether to make coffee or just go on back to bed. We're probably going to make coffee. Whale. I got that caught in the seam. Snippy, snippy. I'm really particular when I'm putting scraps together. Can you tell? I'm not bad, just awake. Wish I was asleep, but I'm not. So since I'm up, I figured, well, may as well do something productive or semi-productive anyway. So I'm working out of one of my scrap bins. Just putting together pieces. And I think the only rule I'm doing on these is that the background color has to touch the printed stuff. So I'm putting black against color. Oh yeah, ponchos. Knitted ponchos, crocheted ponchos, made out of, I think I knew someone who had one made out of denim, old jeans or denim. Yeah, that's been a long time. Yes, I feel old. I think we all do at some point, right? Tell you who makes me feel really old is Courtney and Beth, because they're both so young. You guys watch their lives? We have a farm. We have 5 acres. I mean, it's not big, but we have chickens and we have cows, a donkey. Our last goat just passed. When they were, I don't know what it is, our field where we moved the goats to didn't seem to be real healthy for them. They did fine when they were over here on this side of the farm, but when they got moved over there, it was like one at a time. And we moved them around and we gave them shots and selenium and did all the stuff you're supposed to do for the goaty goats. But I think goats just want to die. We had 14 at one time. He's over there counting on his fingers and toes for me. We had a bunch, but we had 3 does that all had babies. And the babies didn't all make it. But we thought we had whipped everything and they were all doing really good. And then they started having problems. And so we moved them and, did everything you're supposed to do. You have 5 acres of lawn. You have a big, huge house, or is your 5 acres your farm?
Made that like San Marquis.
What, 5 acres?
Yeah.
And we had pigs at one point, but when we had pigs, we also had a renter over on the other part of the area. We had rented out the acreage part to a guy who put way too many cows over there. So he had like 40 cows on a 5-acre plot. And then he had 3 or 6 horses out there on the back. And we couldn't really see the horses from the house, but our neighbors that are over past that called us and we're like, are you guys deliberately starving those horses to death back there or what? And so hubby went out and went and looked at the guy's horses, and we weren't real pleased because the horses were eating. Yeah, well, they were coming out and feeding them mesquite, but still. And then those poor horses were eating dirt off the ground because they were eating the sand on the ground because they weren't giving them enough food. And so we had to talk to them about, your animals don't look good and we're not going to be a part of that. So we did end up having to do some legal paperwork to get them off our property. And it was a hassle, but I couldn't have a starving animal on my farm. That just isn't going to work for me. And we had our 3 cows out there, but they were basically separated. But we had pigs over there, and they had pigs. They were kind of all running around together. And the pigs kept either breaking the water lines or getting out. The horses couldn't run, no. They only had like maybe a quarter of an acre out of all that because they had fenced it off. And when the renters finally left, they took all the gates and fences and stuff that they had put up, which they aren't supposed to do. But we were just like, get off our property. We just wanted them to go because I was terrified that we were going to get in trouble with the county for having abused animals. I mean, it's 5 acres. Before they moved in, it was 5 acres of some really nice looking grass. It's coming back now, but it's taking some time. They've been gone, I think, 2 years. And the grass is just now starting to look decent. Our 3 cows aren't having problems at all. They've got plenty of grass over there for them, and they've got access to the barn. Yeah. Half an acre for a pony is probably good. I know that the other neighbor up the road has got 1 full-size horse. And that horse has the roam of, 5 acres by itself. Its name is Shadow. We stop and talk to Shadow on occasion. We're going in or out. Shadow will come up to the fence, talk to us for a minute, and then goes off and does his or her own thing. Because I'm not sure if Shadow's a boy or a girl.
I think Shadow's a mirror.
I think Shadow's a girl? Okay. So there's my little strippies that I've put together. I hope so too, Crystal. We had to get away from that because I could not face it. Those people just. I really hope the animals are being taken care of. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, sometimes your scraps turn into something cute. Like I said, I don't know what I'll do with it. Maybe I'll donate it as a charity quilt if it's big enough. Or, whatever. But think of it much. I figured it was about time to do something with this. I need the container for something else.
I haven't seen Christmas in a while. That's
Oh.
the old donkey up the road.
Yeah, well, Christmas may have passed. He was old. I don't know if anybody watched Game of Thrones. The very first house on our road, there's only like an old white donkey up there, well, gray. We called it the White Walker until we talked to the neighbors and found out that the donkey's name was Christmas. And that's what Wayne was just telling me, was he hadn't seen Christmas in a while. But Christmas was old.
Oh, yeah.
Donkeys can live a long time. They can live like 18 to 20 years. But Christmas was all gray. And Christmas lived with a bunch of little cows. Not small dwarf cows, but baby cows that have all grown up and gone on to other places. Wayne said he hasn't seen Christmas in a while. I hope if he passed, it was peaceful. He seemed to really like living where he was at, though. He had the run of all their little fields. All right. It has an issue here. One block is a little wider than the other. don't care. I'm going to work it in. I think the black background is on a sheet. That was my scissors, my little magnet scissors that fell. I'll go dig for them in a little while. They're not supposed to be up there. Hey, Kim. Don't feel bad. Neither can we. We're both up here. And looks like we're probably up for the duration. They require an acre plural. Yeah, we supplement our cows with grain and hay. And we supplemented our goats with it too. I knew horses needed more than a quarter acre for 3 of them. They just kept bringing critters in. They kept bringing in cows. And I was like, well, how many cows can you put on 5 acres? And I think with supplemental feed, you're allowed to put either 4 or 5. But that would have still only been maximum of 20. And I know when they finally started taking their cows off, I counted, I think it was either 33 or 34. And I was a little ticked. I was like, no, plus the 3 horses, plus their pigs. Well, that's what I was going to say about the pigs. The pigs kept getting out and breaking the water lines and stuff. And after I got locked off my own porch by a pig one day, I was like, okay, this has to stop. So what have we got here? Because I'm standing down on the ground, so that's 36. And the pig's up on my porch, rooting around and stuff. We had some animal feed up on the porch at the time. That's when I said, no more animal feed on the porch. That's 36 by 36 already. So if I probably have either some of that orange or some black. If I put a little border around it, that would be a baby-sized quilt already. Or I can keep sewing blocks together and make it bigger. But that's a good start for it anyway. You grew up in Denver, then married a country boy, and you have a small farm in Missouri. What all do you have on your farm, Kim? Pretty much the same animals we are. I remember the people who had rented from us came and talked to Wayne about putting ostriches out here. And
Well, that was a hit. That was on 20.
oh, that was on the other property, the 20-acre property. But ostriches are nasty. And they can eviscerate a human being in like 2 seconds with their beak, which is
Another claw, actually.
their claw.
Yeah,
Oh,
they have like a velociraptor claw.
oh. I thought it was with their beak. It's with their claw. Even worse. So they don't even have to make noise. You had chickens and you raised bison. Are you not living on the farm anymore, Kim? Has that like chapter closed already? There we are. Night, Teresa. What, the ostriches are charming? Yeah, that's what I said. I didn't really want to deal with that. So that's why that's why I said no to ostriches. Excuse me. But it is what it is. And I'm not hearing anything outside. I keep kind of trying to listen. See if Larry makes any more noise.
Right now he's locked out.
Yeah, he's locked out of the coop because he was out trying to fight whatever was getting to his girls. And
He won't go back in.
yeah, he won't go back in. He's patrolling. You live in town though? Oh, yeah, I can see why you would do that. Your husband was American Indian, right, Kim? Good night, Crystal. I hope you sleep well. We had that's sad. I'm so sorry. Listening again for chicky noise. Just trying to make sure, because I'm going to try to go to sleep here in a couple of minutes. I sewed up a few rows, put things together. Got something to play with. Wayne wants to deal with rabbits, and I'm like, as much problems as we have with the chickens, I don't know what we would do with rabbits too. Because I'm quite certain that the rabbits would be a nice attractor for the coons and the possums too. Yeah, I'm about a 30-second. Right there it all is, apparently. The American Indian heritage. Oh, I'm going to, Lori. Either that or I'm going to cook some breakfast, some biscuits and bacon and stuff, and then we'll nap after a bit. One way or the other. We'll either, I think we're kind of half waiting on daylight to see what else is going on out there. Because Wayne wants to see if he did get whatever it was. Rachel did them for 4-H. Did you ever get rid of the lizards or the geckos that you were watching, Kim? I thought they were supposed to have already gone home. I know you were saying something about every 2 hours you had to turn the heat pad back on. We do have coyotes out here. Well, good morning, Miss Ellen. How are you today? Have you got your coffee? I don't. We do have coyotes. We have bobcats, coons, possums, skunks. Yeah.
Skunk will
Oh, the skunks are awful. There must be a nest of them somewhere too close to the house for my liking, because the skunks seem to be really bad this year. They're coming today and are they taking over, taking care of them though when they get there? I hope so. It's 53 outside here tonight, where it was 90 something yesterday afternoon. So we have the littlest baby chicks inside. Florida. Lori, I live in Florida. Yeah, that's a big jump, and it feels really cold because, a 50-degree drop is like burr. So we brought the little baby birds in, and probably about 3:00. We didn't realize it was going to drop quite that far tonight. And they're sitting underneath the table over there, all huddled up to keep warm.
They were all in a row, actually, against the one side of the box. It's funny. They're like parked cars.
He said they were parked like cars in a row. That's too cute. Yes, and we got frost actually in January. And that's the first time in a lot of years that we've had frost. I can remember it, I don't know, mid-2000s a few times, but not like it was in January. We got it a couple of nights in a row. And actually, as cold as it is, we also got a warning from the sheriff this morning that we're on a red flag warning, which means that you're not allowed to burn anything. because everything's supposed to. Oh, um, if you burn anything outside, they're afraid that it'll catch fire and be hard to put the fire out. They're even worried when we have lightning strikes during red flag warnings. Yeah, skunks definitely smell, Ellen. We had my Chihuahua, I think she's 10 feet tall and bulletproof. And she went out there after a skunk one night that had already sprayed. And she just ran through like the end of the residual smell. And she stunk to high heaven. We gave her a bath. I was like, ooh, that's got to go. Yeah, I don't like the smell of skunk. And you smell them a lot out here, especially if you drive at night because they get hit so often. We also have alligators, but I've never seen one like down our road. We don't have any water really close to the house either. Yeah, Kim, that's crazy weather. 20 degrees, right? 29 degrees and going to be 70 and 80. Those kind of temperature swings we're not prepared for. Oh, and the neighbors behind us started moving in yesterday. We saw a flatbed coming down the road with the washer and the dryer. And Wayne was like, oh, this is what's on the back of the truck. I said, they're going to be moved in by the weekend. I've heard that, Ellen. Tomato soup. I've heard peroxide, a couple of different things. We just gave her a good bath in doggy soap to get her taken care of. And she seemed to have come clean. She didn't have any residual smell left. So we'll have a neighbor on the other side. So I got to make curtains sometime today. We started to move to Michigan, Lori. We thought about it really hard. We have a daughter in Flint and a son in Toledo. Yeah, I don't like neighbors. I like the ones that we already have. Their house is like a vacation house for them, but they're the perfect neighbors. We have each other's phone numbers so we can text and call. And if we hear something weird, we'll send them a text or we'll call them if it's something big weird. But we'll send them a message and say, hey, we hear, a noise going on at your house, or someone in a gray car just went up your driveway or whatever. And they'll text us back and say, oh, that person's supposed to be there. Or no, I don't know why there's a bell ringing at our house. They'll do the same for us. We wave at each other, when we go up and down the road. But I know where Lapeer is, but we don't, it's not like we got to call up and gossip with them or have coffee over the fence every other week. That just doesn't happen. But every time that we've talked to them, they've been super nice. And they told us the last time we had to call, Wayne went over to their property and to find out what the beeping was, because it was a weird sound. Yeah, perfect neighbors, right? And these people want to fly up and down the road and act like teenagers. They drive like teenagers, who just got their license and are going to do 90 on a residential street. That's what these people act like. So I'm not sure we're going to love having them for neighbors. But I do know that I'm going to make curtains for the windows at that end of my house that face over towards theirs, because I am up a lot in the middle of the night. And I don't really want to hear anything out of them about it. Oh, your lights are on in the middle of the night. Well, screw you. Who cares? You don't need to know why. No, I don't like neighbors. The ones that are across, Steve and Cheryl, are great. But these people, I don't know. Maybe they'll start acting better once the guy's wife comes out here with him. But I'm quite certain she's not really thrilled about moving out to 30 miles from town. Especially since I think they've got little kids, like school-age kids. And there is no bus that runs down this road. They're going to have to take them to the main road every day. And they're not going to be able to walk. We've got we're a mile off the dirt road, which a mile is not the problem. but I'm quite certain that they're not going to walk to the bus stop very often if they're having to walk through, bobcat territory and wild deer and turkeys and snakes. And I don't think that's going to happen. I have blackout curtains on the back windows. We're in the training flight path for Avon Park, which is about 60 miles away. And they do a lot of test flights out of there, plus Cocoa Beach and Cape Canaveral. So we hear a lot of air traffic, but we don't usually get lots of people traffic. Sometimes the air people, I don't know what that was. Sometimes the air people are so close that I tell Wayne we need to put the coffee on because they're going to land in the backyard. But they're pretty good about posting on Facebook if they're going to be doing a lot of training on a certain day, so that we know to disregard all of the aircraft noise. But we also are in the flight path for the trauma hospitals. Apparently the helicopters go right over us when they're going back and forth. So we see helicopters, 2 or 3 times a week, probably? Yeah. So we see those a couple times a week. But I actually have the fabric that I want to make those curtains out of. I just have to pull it over here and sew it up. I didn't really want to close off all the light from that window until they actually moved in, but they'll be actually moved in this weekend. I don't mind. Excuse me. I wouldn't mind not having curtains up, except that there are people just close enough that they could look in. And we got another alert from the county. They just issued the red flag warning again. Miss Ellen, I pulled out one of my scrap bins this morning and just, sounds like I have tons of them. I don't. I have some blocks that I made from some leftover stuff from a quilt. And so I sewed some of those blocks together, and then I slapped them together into rows. And right now it's about 36 by 36. Trying to make sure it's showing up there so you can see it. So I stopped. I may sew those last few blocks together. I may slap something on it as a border. Got to find the word. And I've got some little pieces of cutoffs from other stuff I did that I may put around as a border. I don't know. But I was just trying to keep my hands busy and do something. Good morning, Vicki. How are you? Or is it a good morning? Well, thank you, Kim. I appreciate that. Oh, thank you, Ellen. That's literally my scrap stuff from making another quilt. I don't even know where the other quilt is right now. It's probably in my needs to be done box. So, and Miss Ellen, did you see my video earlier? I got my quilt from Tiffany. It's in the washer. It's in the dryer right now. So I can't show you the quilt, but it is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And she sent me a little handmade card, and I mean, she did a good job of showing it on her video when she was giving it away. But isn't that pretty? I'm just like, oh yeah. It's a hand-stamped card, and she wrote me a little note inside telling me about care of it. You've got one eye open and one eye closed. Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same shape this morning. There we go. I'm propping mine open with toothpicks right now, Vicki. It's like, yeah, I can see. Oh yeah. And Tiffany's mom had come on the video and was chit-chatting with us. I guess she must have told Tiff that I was showing it. So Tiffany came in for a couple of minutes. And so I got to thank her as in person as YouTube gets. Yeah, it's gorgeous. She is a doll. She really is, Kim. And I already got rid of the box, but I did take a picture of the label on it. And I think once payday hits, I'm going to go ahead and send her the postage back for it. I have to talk to the finance manager, who, AKA tech support, AKA hubby, and see if we can do that. But I want to send her the postage back for it because she shouldn't have to pay for such a great gift. That was awesome. I'm really happy with it. So, and I really want to put that quilt on my bed. So Saturday is sheet day. I'm going to try to get my bed sheets and my pillowcases and all that stuff washed. And then when I remake the bed, I'm going to put that quilt on there. It is super soft. The backing on it is just to die for. Loved how it felt against my skin, even when I just pulled it out of the box. It does smell like vintage fabric, but we knew it did. Yeah, she is sweet, Ellen. She really is. And we were trying to encourage Beth to start making videos because Beth was like, oh, I've got some sewing done and some unfinished quilt tops and stuff. I said, you should definitely make videos. She kind of had talked about it back before I really got started on my channel. And I was like, you need to do it. Okay, Matthew, have a great night. Get some sleep. I actually probably should go too and either go cook something or go to bed, one or the other, because we do have company coming at 10. I'm sorry, Lori. Kathy does hers on Wednesday. I'm always kind of like, maybe I should do mine on Wednesday. Nah. I'm used to doing mine on the weekends. And I guess, my grandma did hers on Monday. My mom always did hers on the weekends. We'd go to the laundromat and do them though, because we didn't, until she was much older, we didn't have a washer and dryer at home. It was, always drag everything to the laundromat. I used to drag ours to the laundromat till we bought our house. I was like, oh, I will be so happy to have a washer and dryer. I can keep up with it. You should see the pile of laundry I've got to do. We'll leave it at that. But we've got a lot we got to take care of. All right, guys. I appreciate you showing up for my insomnia chat. Oh, is your basement where your sewing area is, Ellen? It doesn't look like you're in your basement whenever I see yours. I need to work on mine too, but I've got to do some work in the kitchen first. So today is going to be about laundry and kitchen. Vicki, you're just moving right along on that double wedding ring quilt. All right, guys, I am going to go see if I can get everybody tucked into bed. There's starting to be a little bit of light outside, so we want to go check on the chickens again before we head off to bed and see if we can find whatever it was that was attacking the coop earlier in the night. And I will probably see you guys at Mom and Pop's. I'll at least be watching, even if I'm not chatting. Or I don't even know who else is on tonight. So, but I will talk at you guys all later. Thank you for joining me while I sewed. All right. Have a good one.